Greetings, Moonlight citizens. This is your Moonlight King here with the 40th, count it, 40th episode of the Moonlight Kingdom podcast. And let me tell you something, it has been quite a journey here, folks, on Moonlight Kingdom podcast. We are now 40 episodes in. What a journey it's been. And on this particular episode, before I get into it, I want to say thank you. Thank you for sticking with me all this time from episode 1 all the way to episode now. From, the beginning when we were talking about Kang and Quantum Mania all the way to now in this episode where we're talking about Snow White and Game of Thrones, of all things. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, somehow we started talking about Snow White and just managed to work our way into talking about the likes of Tyrion Lannister, Cersei Lannister, Jaime Lannister, the Stark family, the deconstruction, not even deconstruction, the just disassembly of Jon Snow. And, Daenerys Targaryen, how she's different from the books versus what she is in the TV show, how that final season was crap. Then again, whenever we talk about Game of Thrones, we always make sure to mention that the final season was crap. Crippity crap. Because it was. Benioff and, what's his name, Weiss, the guys who did Lost, some other crippity crap. Anyway, yeah, those guys are the masters of something that starts off really strong, gets really amazing halfway through them seasons, and then just falls apart at the end. They did it with Lost, they did it with Westworld, and they did it with Game of Thrones. Just masters of crap. Crippity crap. Anyway, yeah, we also cover the Olympics. Yeah, big, pretty topical thing, the Olympics. I don't know how we managed to get all the way there from the land of Disney and Westeros to the land of Paris, France, and the Seine and that filthy river that's so disgusting that the people who swam in it were throwing up after the fact. Whose bright idea was it to have Olympic athletes swim in a polluted river? Did you not watch that movie Under Paris? Did you miss? Even if you took the sharks out of the movie, swimming in there is a bad idea. It's filthy. It's not quite the River Thames, but damn, it's brown. The water is brown. Nothing says this water is not meant to be swam in or drunk or anything other than just to exist. Then the water is brown. I mean, damn, man. They teach you that. That's basic things. That's a basic thing you learn. Don't drink brown water. When you turn the tap on and the water comes out brown, don't drink it. That's probably rust or dirt or some kind of chemical or Lord knows what else. You don't drink brown water and you don't swim in it either. It could be radioactive for all you know. There could be bodies floating in there for all we know. Oh, one person who does know is that swimmer who was, hawking up his lunch after the end of that race. That guy knows. Yeah. Anyway, there's a lot to cover about Game of Thrones. It was a hell of a phenomenon. It took the world by storm for a good, 10 years? 8? Let's say 8 years because it was 8 seasons. Yeah. 8 years. I think 8 years. I don't know. Maybe, who cares? Yeah, there's some comparisons to be made between like how Jaime Lannister and Prince Charming from the Shrek movies got a lot in common in terms of like who he was in the beginning, but they're vastly different by the end of it, because in Shrek 2, like Prince Charming is introduced like this seemingly he's introduced as the typical Prince Charming type character to come in, rescue the princess, and he's over the course of the story revealed to be a douche. He's a Napo baby. Think about it. I mean, he's an arrogant, spoiled brat. And by Shrek 3, he's still an arrogant, spoiled brat. But he's like on a vengeful quest now to reclaim what he believes to be his. I mean, not really reclaim much. He's just here to take over the kingdom and make everyone's life hell who's responsible for the predicament that he was in. He rallies up all the villains to do that. He starts off the story, you think he's going to be one way, then it reveals actually he's not. He's not the Prince Charming of fairy tales. This whole, the Shrek movies are a subversion of fairy tales. The ogre, who's normally the snarling beast, he's the antagonist of the film, he's the protagonist. He's the Prince Charming type character. And, Princess Fiona, the chick who needs to be rescued, isn't a damsel in distress that needs to be saved. Until Oh, except for when the sequels hit, and she totally is. And like, yeah, she knows kung fu and shit, but like, she in the face of insurmountable odds or like a massive army, some rescuing is needed. That so Shrek can have something to do. But yeah, moving aside, Jaime Lannister is very much introduced to the world of Game of Thrones as this like Prince Charming esque character. Even has the same hair. Like looking at the two, look at the side by side pictures. They're practically the same guy. And then once he loses his hand, everything changes. He like losing that hand. I think one of the things that made him who he was that he was a talented swordsman. He could talk as much crap as he wanted. He could say whatever he liked because he knew when it came down to it, if you had a problem with it, he could just back it up with a sword fight and that would be the end of you. But when they lobbed off his sword fighting hand, it's like, damn, who am I without this? It forced him to reassess and it like humbled him big. Like he got humbled like seriously. Like he couldn't sword fight. He couldn't even cut food by himself. He needed help eating and everything. And like as the episodes, he gets that golden hand, but like as the seasons go on, that golden hand gets like more and more tainted. I'm just wondering, did he wipe his ass with that hand? Because did he forget that one of his hand was metal and then he just tries to wipe his ass? Because it gets more and more dirty and it's never explained why it's getting more and more dirty. Like, but whatever. I just assumed it's like that guy. It's like when someone has a hook hand. Like I wonder sometimes when I see someone with a hook hand, like, does that guy ever wipe his ass with the wrong hand? Does that guy forget that he has a hook hand and try wiping his ass with it? Like, ooh. Yeah, probably. Not to make fun of the disabled, but that's happened at least once. Somewhere, somehow, there was a guy with a hook hand who tried to wipe his ass with the wrong hand, and it did not end well. Whatever. Anyway, aside from that, um, Game of Thrones had a lot of cool characters in it. Your Brienne of Tarth. I liked Brienne of Tarth, man. Her and Pod were a great combo. They were like a buddy cop duo almost. That renegade cop who's like assigned a partner by the chief, and he's like, Chief, I don't do partners, and he's a rookie, something like that. And it was kind of like that because she wanted nothing to do with him, and like he just wanted to go along. Like he said, like my lord made me promise to be by your side and like help you with whatever you need, and she was just like, consider your promise fulfilled, man. I don't need help. We're good. Peace out. But she didn't say that, but like she had like more style and class when she spoke. She sounds like Diana from the Hitman games. She's got that kick-ass voice, and she's beautiful. Damn. I don't understand this show, man. I don't understand how people look at Brienne of Tarth and be like, ugh, what's wrong with this chick? Look how like big she is. Like they say it in like a distasteful way, but I'm like, damn, look how big she is. Do you not see this woman? Do you not see how tall she is? Like she goes toe to toe with the freaking what's his name? Not the mountain, or is that the hound? I think it's the hound. Yeah, she goes toe to toe with the guy with whose half his face got burned off by his brother. That guy. He goes toe to toe with him and wins. Damn. She wasn't badass. If you didn't think she was badass before, she definitely badass now. Shoot. Hot damn, man. That woman, man, I hate that she wound up falling for freaking Jaime Lannister of all people, because he didn't love her, man. She didn't deserve this. She didn't deserve to be treated like this, man. I'm not saying her and Pod should have been together or anything, but he would have treated her right, man. That's all I'm gonna say. He would have treated her right. Pod's a good dude. A pretty well endowed dude by that one scene, we'll tell you. Yeah, there was one scene where Tyrion and what's this, Bronn? Bronn's a great character. So Tyrion and Bronn, like, they sent him to a brothel with a sack of money, and he came back and he still had the money. They're like, wait, they didn't what, they threw you out or something? Like, no, they wouldn't take it. Like, yes, he was he yeah, he looks, yeah, he's very unassuming, and he looks like he don't know much, but well, he knows how to put it down, man. He knows how to lay it down, man. So good that they wouldn't, like, damn, so good they wouldn't take his money. They were that satisfied. It's like, damn, Pod, what's going on, man? Like, and even Tyrion and them were like, yo, sit down. Tell us, man. Fill us in. What'd you do? Game of Thrones at its moments. Oh, even on the villain side, man, Tywinlannister was such a well-written character. I was bummed when he got killed. Yeah. Spoiler alerts for those who haven't watched the show, but damn it, man, the show ended in 2018. If you ain't seen it by now, that's on you. Also, it's too late to be listening to this. If you ain't seen it, whatever. Tywin Lannister was so well written. You know, like he was the guy where you didn't question if he was running the show. You knew he was running the show. He wanted you to know he was running things, but he wasn't bragging about it. He wasn't stupid. He was the kingmaker, basically. Yeah, he would never be king, so he made it his mission to become the kingmaker. Like he was the guy. He was like Dick Cheney in the sense, because yeah, Bush was president, but like Dick Cheney was running things behind the scenes. There was stuff that the vice was doing that the president was totally unaware of. There was, yeah, like there's definitely that. Like that's what I meant. Like he was the real king of Westeros. Like even like Tyrion even asked him, like he even tells him like I think yeah he because Tywin tells Joffrey, any man who has to say I am the king is no true king. And in another episode, and he like sends him off. He basically says the king is tired. He wants to go to bed. Like I am not tired. He's like you're like yeah you are motherfucker. Go to bed. And he, and then he didn't say that, but like Tyrion looks at him like, "You just sent the king of Westeros, like you just sent the most powerful man in Westeros to bed without his supper." And Tywin is like, "If you think that's the most powerful man in Westeros, like if you think he's the one running shit around here, you got another thing coming, man." Ah, man, whew. Damn, this show, so many fond memories, so many good scenes, such good shit. Unlike that new Snow White. Granted, I hear the words Snow White, like live action Snow White. First thing that comes to mind is Snow White and the Huntsman. Now that is Snow White reimagined right there. That is what I call a kick-ass remake. That is Snow White. That is my Snow White right there. Kristen Stewart, clad in armor, riding into battle with the dwarves and the woodland creatures, kicking ass, and then going one-on-one with the queen. That's badass right there. That's some badass shit. Now this new Snow White with Rachel Zegler, who she don't need no man, and the seven dwarves ain't dwarves. Like, why? Why? We go into that. We delve into some of that, but just why, Disney? What are you doing, man? What are you doing, Mouse? Well, not Mouse anymore, because he ain't in on that. Where are the Mickey Mouse movies? I remember Mickey Mouse was going up in public domain. He wasn't owned by the House of Mouse anymore. I remember hearing that news, like, at a certain date, Mickey Mouse is going to go into public domain, and then a bunch of studios got to work right away. A bunch of, a bunch of Mickey Mouse horror movies were announced. Like, the moment that news hit, yo, we are working on a Mickey Mouse horror movie. It's coming out the same month as Mickey Mouse hits public domain. Because if it comes out before that, let's be real, that movie probably finishes filming way before that. But it can't come out till after he comes public domain. Because if it does, then Disney can say, hey, we still on him. He's still our mascot, yo, hey. Like, they don't, okay, it's not Mickey that's going up for sale, it's the Steamboat Willie. Yeah. Steamboat Willie movie doesn't have the same ring to it as Mickey Mouse movie, but Mickey Mouse is spawned from Steamboat Willie, so yeah, Mickey's no longer, the House of Mouse is no longer the House of Mouse. But yeah. Whew. Man, you're already losing it over here, man. First, Mickey, what's next, man? You're going to lose Donald Duck? I hope you do, man, and I hope WB snaps him up so they can have Donald Duck and Daffy Duck share the screen again. That shit would... Wait a minute. I get them confused. Whatever. Just have them share the screen again, man. Yeah. Unlike that Acme versus, what's this Roadrunner versus Acme movie? But other than that, moving aside, yeah, moving on. No, I'm not gonna check. I'm gonna check out this new Snow White. Just to see. It's more of not even curiosity in a sense. It's like, all right, let's go see this train wreck. Let's see how messed up this gets. The news is not good. It's like, I don't know. It's just I'm not looking forward to it. So yeah, that'll be that. Anyway, I've been jabbering on and on for quite some time. Let's get into the 40th episode of Moonlight Kingdom Podcast, Moonlight Citizens, in 3, 2, 1.
Why you want to judge people their appearance? Maybe he's a cool old fat dude who has money. Wouldn't you want that scenario later?
No. That's messed up. I've seen, what's this, Snow White, and I've seen Sleeping Beauty, and I always get those two confused. I always get Sleeping Beauty and, Cinderella confused. No, not Cinderella. Cinderella's the one with the shoe. It's Sleeping Beauty and Snow White. I always get them confused, because they both be sleeping. So it's like, they're easy to mix up.
Snow White is the one with the dwarves, the 7 dwarves.
Not anymore, it seems. You hear about that new Snow White?
Okay, yeah, true.
Snow White and the non-dwarves. There's Snow White and the 7 people. Snow White and the 7 friends.
Shame.
There's Snow White and the 7 mixed race, gender fluid, gender non-specific peoples. Snow White and the 7 creatures.
By the way, are you watching the Olympics?
Oh, can we please not talk about that, man? I'm sick of hearing about that. I'm sick of hearing about the headless chick and the freaking Satanism and all this bullshit that people be extrapolating from this. No, move on. I don't want to hear about it.
By the way, South Africa won gold for swimming.
Good. But other than that, I don't want to hear nothing about it. I'm sick of it. It's everywhere.
And they won bronze for rugby, and I think the other one is for fencing, but I'm not too sure.
Fencing?
Oh my god! I was watching the Olympics because I was just scrolling through the different events that they were having. I get the opening and I get the hype behind the opening, but I personally watched the Olympics for the actual Olympics. So there's some good looking athletes there, man. But anyway, I went onto the sharpshooting. I don't know what sharpshooting was. But
mostly the Korean
I just went on the sharpshooting. And there was this good looking sharpshooting girl, let me tell you. She was gangster too, man. She was I don't know, she was encompassing the persona of a nonchalant redhead, even though she's a little Asian woman. But let me tell you, she got silver for Korea in that match. I don't know what she was shooting at, but she was doing it really well. I'm proud of her, even though she's Korean. But she was cool.
What you got against Koreans?
I like Koreans, they're cool.
Yeah, but you said I'm proud of her, even though she's Korean. There's definitely something there.
You would expect me to show pride for my own people, my own South Africans, But I'm proud of her, even though she's shooting for Korea. But it was cool, man. We got some really cool events, skateboarding. South Africa is also competing in. What else?
Skateboarding in the Olympics. And believe this shit, man. Skateboarding in the Olympics, man. Can you? Wow.
It's hard to skateboard.
I would not. When you imagine an Olympic level event, you imagine the best of the best in peak condition doing things that no ordinary human can do, or doing ordinary human sports, but in beyond exceptional ways. Like peak humanity showing off its finest. and you'd put skateboarding in there. It's like, really?
Yeah, I've
Skateboarding?
seen some of those skateboarders. Skateboarding is really hard, man.
Yeah, I know
It's a skill.
skateboarding is odd, but at the same time, it's like, it doesn't feel like, it doesn't fit the vibe, you know? It doesn't fit the vibe of Olympic sports.
They're really good looking. You need to watch the skateboarding event. Your own country is competing in that event. Let me tell you right now.
I don't watch the Olympics. I could honestly, I don't think I haven't cared much about the Olympics since, I don't know, the last time I cared about the Olympics was when I was playing the video game.
My favorite thing in the Olympics to watch is the rhythmic gymnastics and the diving. Those are my favorite events.
Yeah, I saw that. There was this one dude. He was a meme for a hot minute. He was the meme of when you lied on your job application, and he fucked up a dive. Like, he over rotated so bad. You know, normally when you do a dive and you like rotate in the air, you're supposed to like land, land properly. Like, yeah, sink into the water and like.
Yeah, in diving,
But this
the
fool
smallest
over
splash you
rotated.
can make, the better.
Oh, this dude over rotated. He rotated. Normally with these things, it's like 1, 2, and then on the third, you're in the water. This guy went up like right away when he got on that board. You could tell he didn't know what he was doing, cause his jump was awkward. And then it was like rotate, rotate, and normally you're supposed to go in the water on the third, but it was like rotate, 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 and then he landed face first in that water. And they were like 0, 0, 3. Because they knew, like, okay, this man screwed up somehow. This isn't.
Maybe he probably had like performing anxiety or something. Shame. And then you got like the OG diver. I forget his name. It's Tom something, Tom Hadley or something. He used to do that knits during Olympic events. So he's gay and he knits and he dives. He won gold for England. Yeah.
Gay and knits. So he's a old lady?
Yeah. Yeah, you would think. But no, him and his husband are both gold medalists. They have a kid together, and he like knits during like the event, like while he's waiting his turn. It's like his thing.
So he's just sitting there on the side with a big sock, knitting away.
Yeah. Well, he made a sweater.
I would think he would knit a swim cap or something, but I don't know, sweater. Okay.
Yeah, for the Olympics.
Whatever.
But that's cool. At least they're making them swim in the pools. I mean, some events are in the sin, but
That's disgusting.
I would not want to get my body in that water. Let me tell you now.
Yeah, especially when in that movie Under Paris, what with all them sharks in it?
Yeah, true. Yeah, you wouldn't have wanted to watch that movie and then like be competing in the Olympics for like diving or some shit. I would die. You can't see in that water, like it's murky.
I mean, it's not quite the River Thames, but yeah, it's filthy.
I think like okay, I like swimming. It's a hobby of mine. Like the ocean is cool, man. Like people are too scared of the ocean, in my opinion. But like also me, who has had experience in the ocean, like I hate swimming over murky water. Like when I can't see what's underneath me, I freak out. Okay.
As that happens with everybody, I'd argue it's more of a claustrophobia thing. Like, yeah, there's water.
I feel like something is gonna come from under me and chow me, and I'm gonna be dead.
Yeah, like it's. Did you know that this is a pretty of an odd thing, but I found out recently that apparently Rey Mysterio, in like the early days of his career, when he was wrestling for like WCW, actually hated wearing a mask because he found it to be claustrophobic.
Oh Oh my god. That's funny though.
Yeah, it's. I mean, as the years went on, because back in those days, the mask was there were those costumes he wore that was like a onesie where the mask was attached to the top and it was like wound really really tight, so you could kind of understand how that would be claustrophobic. But like as the years went on, he wore like his mask was like it was open in the back and it was more loose, he could more easily take it on and put it off, so that feeling would subside as time went on. But like, yeah, just the idea of this thing on your face at all times, every day, constricting you, you can kind of see the fear, where the fear would come from, even though there's like eye holes and stuff.
I get you. But like, I don't know, like, I can't imagine wearing a mask, and his is like a proper full coverage mask, and then doing all those actions, man. No. Like, okay, but I was to wear the mask and just sit still, I'll be okay. But like, I don't know, I don't know, I'm the type of person to throw a fit when I'm feeling too hot, you know what I mean? Like, I get angry when I'm hot.
Yeah,
So I don't think that.
I kind of had similar, like you get stories about like similar things happening with people during like the COVID masks. Not like those N64 like doctors masks, like proper like thick masks that people would wear to cover their faces, and you have to like, I don't know, go about your day. Like you will get like that odd sense of like, especially when you've been exhaling a lot and you feel it kind of fogging up, that you're like, okay, I need to take this off for a sec. I'm having trouble like breathing, even though you're breathing just fine. Cause that happened to me once. Like I was like walking up a hill and it was like a hot day, like and I was like huffing and puffing and my glasses were fogging up, and it got this weird sense like, yo, I can't breathe, man. Like I'm straight up having trouble breathing, but like a minute ago everything was fine. Like you can breathe relatively easy with those masks on and they're comfortable, but like the fact that it's been sitting on your face for hours at that point, like to the point that when you take it off, you can see like the points where like it was sitting, and it's hard to do much with that stuff on your face. Like imagine having to hold down a conversation. It's just like, no, this feels weird. Like, yeah.
No, I can't. But honestly, the fact that he wore that mask and still did all the things he did is like, it's something to amend.
Yeah, I mean, more power to him.
Like,
He got over his fear. And oh, another thing that's kind of ironic about Mysterio, he has he does all these high flying maneuvers off ladders and turnbuckles and stuff, but he has a fear of flying. Yeah. I'm just like,
God.
really? Like you? Isn't that aren't you isn't it like jumping off tall going from tall shit like kind of your thing? But then you're like, yeah, he got a fear of flying, man. Like I'm just like, yeah, it's a pretty human thing, but at the same time it's like, wow, really? I never would have guessed. Like, yeah.
Shame. I feel sorry for him. That's sad.
Meh. Oh, moving aside. Oh, back to Snow White. What did you think when news spread around that Rachel Zegler was saying, "Oh, this new Snow White is like it's updated for modern audience. It's not gonna be like the original. Like she doesn't need no prince to come out and save her. She's gonna be saving herself." And to couple that, the dwarves aren't dwarves anymore. Like, what'd you think about that?
I have mixed feelings about it because she's right in one sense. But at the same time, like, I feel like women are doing this thing where they're hating things that are feminine. Like, it's okay to be soft and to be feminine and enjoy feminine things and to not always, have to be the loudest to prove yourself. There's a certain strength in being soft and kind and loving and those kinds of things. And yes, those things aren't necessarily female qualities. But I don't know, like when you think of a character like Snow White, she is those things, you know? It doesn't mean that it's, you know, connected to the fact that she's a woman. She's just, that's her personality. She's kind. She was kind to the seven dwarves. And I think that's cool. And it's okay to be in love as well. Being in love isn't a bad thing. Having a Prince Charming isn't a bad thing. Like, some women out there literally dream about finding somebody who loves them and cares about them and would do anything for them. Um, and I think that's sweet and nice, and they shouldn't change the essence of what Snow White is, which they are doing. But I get that they can modernize it a bit, but like not so much where you completely changing the character of Snow White. Like, there are princesses out there that are brave, that know how to fight and this and that, and who are a bit more assertive in their character. Look at Merida, Mulan. They fit that purpose. And that's what I'm trying to say. Like, all these princesses out there, they all represent a different type of femininity. So women out there can relate to each one of them. You know, you always find a quality that you have in each one of them. But I think there's something beautiful about that. And we don't need like about 8 Mulans or 8 Meridas. Snow White is.
And how do you feel about them having like, yeah, the seven dwarves aren't dwarves anymore. It's six regular actors and that one token dwarf. What are your thoughts on that?
Um, I think that there are certain roles that only certain people that can play, and there are probably a lot of actors out there with dwarfism that probably have a hard time landing jobs because of their condition. And this is one of the probably the only roles that they'll be able to play. And yes, I do believe that there should be more spaces in the entertainment industry, in the arts, for people with dwarfism and with other um, um, disabilities as well. But I feel like this was their chance, you know, to get jobs, to get their name out there. And it was just taken from them. It's kind of like, you know, in Ghost in the Shell, kind of like how we love Scarlett Johansson, but like, you know, it should have been played by an Asian actress. This is probably one of the only roles out there that an Asian actress would get to play and would play well, because it is in a, you know, Asian cyberpunk world. And yeah, give people their shot, man.
Yeah. Yeah, damn that Peter Dinklage and his, protests at public forums and shit. I'm not saying it's entirely his fault that the dwarves weren't dwarves anymore, but it did play a large part in it because he did go on, like, I think a podcast somewhere and say, like, yeah, they're doing Snow White, but I think he said, like, Snow White is fucked up because, like, the dwarves are living, like, they live in a cave and, like, whatever. And I don't think he actually read Snow White because the dwarves don't live in a fucking cave. They work in a cave. They work in a mine. They live in a house. Like a normal house. That's where Snow White meets them. So, like, yeah. So I don't know what he's mad about. There's a theory that he's not mad that the dwarves and, like, Snow White are still portrayed as they are. I think there's this theory out there that's like he's mad because he wasn't offered the job. Now he's trying to sandbag the whole thing.
But like, I mean, you got Tyrion. Tyrion is the OG dwarf man.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh,
that
then
was.
yeah. Then having a dwarf in the story isn't a thing. Like, oh, now it's not an issue because you making that Game of Thrones
Tyrion
money.
was the
Yeah.
person he was, who became, you know, because of the condition he was born with.
Yeah.
You know, he was given a horrible standing in Westerosi society, close to like a bastard or like a lower born because of his condition. People didn't take him seriously. He was just the unwanted problem. And he was born into a powerful house, and he was low-key the heir because, Jaime was a part of the King's Guard. So he couldn't, inherit the Lannister
Yeah,
seat.
Tywin would not
So he
allow
was
that.
low-key the heir, which is disappointing. It was disappointing in Tywin's eyes. But, Tyrion became the person he was because of all the adversity and hardships that he had to face. He, when you compare Jaime's character to Tyrion, Tyrion was a leader. He was smart. He was strategic. He was responsible. He was a good character to be in power. Jaime, on the other hand, he was kind of irresponsible. He more so was part of the King's Guard because of, he did play a big part in the war. He did kill the main guy, the king, so he was offered a place. Well, he was part of the King's Guard. Oh wait, no, he was in the King's Guard because the Mad King was trying to punish Tywin. But he was a part of the King's Guard at that point. But he wasn't a dude, a responsible dude. He didn't care about his family's reputation, etc., etc. He just wasn't the dude, man, for power. He was a fun guy, not to say anything. He had that charming personality. He was liked by the people. He was social, but he doesn't know what it's like to, face the hardships of this world. How Tyrion had to. Tyrion was given the bad end of the deal.
You
He
telling me the
literally.
guy? Are you telling me the guy who lost his hand does not know
But
how shitty the world
that's
can
kind of
be?
his karma. But for most of his life, he didn't know the hardships of the world. You know what I mean? Yes, that was kind of his karma because of all the horrible things he did. Because at the end of the day, I think we like Jaime as a character, but we also forget the horrible things he did. He literally threw Bran out of that window.
No, I didn't forget that. I remember that. That was part of the thing where it's a major thing in his redemption that him and Bran meet up later and he's like, hey, sorry I tossed you out of that window and kind of made you who you are now. That was kind of fucked up. I was going through some shit. But
And that's
yeah.
why I say it's kind of his karma that he caused this boy such pain. He made him into a cripple. So he's kind of a cripple in a way now. He lost the thing that made him him. Just like how Brad, he was adventurous. He used to climb. He used to ride horses. And that was taken away from him at such an age. I mean, sure, he was given more responsibilities. He became the king of Westeros at the end of it. But it's kind of a parallel in that way, that the thing that made him him, that gave him his glory, was taken away from him. So that was his karma. But before that, he lived a pretty easy life.
He was basically, well, for no better comparison, he was Prince Charming from Shrek 2, if you think about it.
And he looked like him too.
Yeah, he had the hair and everything.
But I don't know. I feel like I have bittersweet feelings towards JB because I like him. He's a charming, charismatic dude. He did do some shit, but I also felt sorry for him. With his hand, and he had to learn how to fight again and regain his honor because people didn't see him the same after he lost his hand. And also his whole love story, with
Brienne.
what's her name?
Brienne of
Brienne,
Tarth,
right?
yeah.
I feel like he did really love her and really care about her because I feel like his charms didn't work on her because she also went through such a hard life, and they kind of went through this journey together. They kind of trauma bonded in a way. He did love her. He did feel a connection to her, so it must have been hard.
He did not love her. He cared for her. He loved Cersei.
Okay, yeah, he did love Cersei a lot more. But I'm just saying, even that decision to leave Brienne to go back to Cersei must have been a bit hard. He had that opportunity to finally get out of that looming shadow of his family, responsibility and whatnot. He could have started a new life fighting for Daenerys, being with Brienne. But he chose Cersei in the end, which I suppose is poetic in a way. They came into this world together, they were left together. But I don't know, man.
Man,
I just
fuck
feel
that
like
ending.
Cersei.
fuck that ending. I'll say this much. The death of Cersei Lannister was underwhelming. It was poorly written. It
But
was just shit.
was
No,
such an
this
epic
no
character.
no no no. Hear me out here. This character who's caused so much pain and so much suffering to many people all across the show, and no one gets the
I get
revenge.
you, I get
No
you. You
one.
know what it was giving? It was giving Neji, Hyuga, and Naruto.
Ugh. Nah, it was giving bullshit, is what it was, man. Lazy booking. That's what that shit was. Ugh. The nothing. It just smacks of the writer wanted
Oh,
to
sorry.
move on to something else.
You know what it was giving? Cersei's death. It was Hybo. This isn't me now, character, but he died like from a spike, something that so many characters avoided, and like he just died like such an underwhelming death. Like it's kind of like that. She should have gotten a more just ending. Like I feel like it didn't do justice for me.
Ugh.
But like in general, the end of Game of Thrones was stupid. It should never have happened that way, but like George R. Martin, he didn't finish the book Winds of Winter in time, so we really don't know what would have happened according to him. But like from like the Song of Ice and Fire, I can tell you right now, the way he wrote Daenerys, she would have never done that in the end. She is not that kind of person to just flame a whole city of people and just kill people like that. Like she was always this. Yes, she was kind of sheltered by all the people around her. She did receive a lot of help for this big responsibility that she had. But like I don't know, man. Like even in the books, like she freed people from slavery, from being oppressed, from living under that fear of imminent death. You know, like she gave people autonomy and freedom, and she was the people's mother. You know, like they call her Misa in this show that happens in the book too. She's pretty young in the book. She's a kid, and I think that people don't realize that because she's depicted in the show as a big woman. But like by the end of like Game of Thrones, she should be at most like 17, 18 years old. You know what I mean? Not even, maybe even 16. Um, but yeah, like I don't know, like I feel like she was childlike. She was a bit innocent, even though her innocence was kind of tapped away at with all the trauma she went through. But like I feel like because of that innocence and the fact that she was a child herself, she was also very empathetic. She found it hard to hurt people, and in some instances she did have to because she was a queen. She had to do justice for people who committed crimes. Like there was even this one instance where these children were working for the harpy that were after her, and she had to get them sharply questioned to like get the information to make sure these people don't go around reestablishing slavery into the city. And like during this torture session, like she like made them stop because she couldn't handle it. These children who are younger than her but are still children, getting tortured like this. But that's what I'm saying, that Daenerys isn't the type of person to do this. Like she wasn't the Mad King. She was the prince that was promised, not Jon Snow. It was never supposed to be Jon Snow. And I feel like if George R. Martin ever had to finish Winds of Winter, like I hope he does Daenerys justice in that way. Because what happened to her character, what happened to Jon Snow, even to all of the characters really, was disgusting. For lack of better words, it was just disgusting. Like most of the characters at the end of Game of Thrones that did die are actually alive during that point. Like Marjorie, Joffrey, even. Not Joffrey, sorry, Tommen. Most of them are alive. Like the main people, like even Catelyn Stark, she's Lady Stoneheart in the books. She was actually like brought to life, by that group. I forget what they called, but like after the Red Wedding happened, she's actually brought to life, and now she's like the leader of that group. and she plays such a big role in the war. Like all these people that died in the show, like I don't know, they're supposed to be alive, and like there's new characters that play an integral part of the storyline. Like Ariane Mattel, she is one of like the baddest bees in Westeros. She is known as the Queen Maker. Like her whole storyline of trying to get Marcella, Joffrey's sister, onto the throne is like a big thing. Like Marcella was actually a queen for some time. It's crazy. Like they really just butchered the show. But like I don't know. I blame George. I blame the dude. I blame the author. He let his story and his creation be butchered. It's sad, really.
Well, he's not J.K. Rowling, and I'm kind of glad he's not, in the sense that he doesn't have that dictatorial grip on his, works and all that. That like I get a say in how everything plans out, and you can't deviate from a damn thing I wrote. Because some writers, sometimes there are things where a TV show or a movie will do them better than the source material. Look at the
100%,
boys.
I believe that.
Literally, just look at the boys as an example. That's a prime example of not sticking to the source material can work out for the best.
I get
Because
that 100%. Like, for example, House of the Dragon was really well done. Like a lot of people were on the fence, sorry, on like Corlys, Valerian being black, some of the characters being black, those kinds of things. But it works with the storyline. Also like with Rhaenys, like people were saying she has black hair in the book. Yes, she does have black hair, but in the show, she has blonde hair, and that kind of like adds to like the fact that Rhaenyra's children are born with black hair and therefore are bastards. Because like both their parents have blonde hair, and if like their grandmother had black hair, it would kind of be weird, you know. Like, oh, they probably got the hair from their grandmother, so like there wouldn't even be that rumor around. So I get like how certain changes and those kinds of things can be good, but also like integral characters where they're changing things, like completely changing like themselves. Like Daenerys is like a beloved character in the books. Like people who read the book, they love Daenerys. I love Daenerys. She's one of my favorite characters in A Song of Ice and Fire. Like her chapters are so like heartwarming and sad and relatable. Like she is the people's mother. Like when I say that, like I mean it. Like I felt like when I was reading those chapters, like I was like one of those people. Like she was amazing, and the fact that they did that to her at the end, that she died in that way, it just effing sucks. Like it's like a horrible injustice. Like I get that there were changes, and some characters weren't able to be written into the script because it would take too much time and too much deviation. But like I don't know, like with the characters that they did have, because Daenerys was a leading character. Like she had like the second most screen time compared to Jon. Jon was first, then it was Daenerys, then it was character, like ever finished.
yeah, I can see that. The descent to madness for this character was very poorly handled.
It was like I get that she did descend into madness because of the horrible thing she went through, man. She did all this fighting just for the people that supported her and loved her through all of this, to just be gone, to be dead, to be butchered.
One of the things this show did badly in this final season was it made Tyrion dumb. Like not just in this season, but like in when there was that siege.
Like,
there was wait yeah in that season when the castle they were all in was being attacked by all the Night Walkers, and finally the war that the show had been building to for seasons was finally happening. His plan to keep the women and children safe from this army of the dead was to lock them all in this this crypt full of dead people. Like, do you not?
That was dumb.
Yeah, that was fucking dumb. But this character... Thing is, if this was literally anyone else's idea, I would be like, okay, sure, whatever, they're not that bright. But this is Tyrion. This is a dude whose whole shtick is that he's smart. He's smarter than most people in. He's the smartest guy in the room, and he always makes sure of it. But for him to make such a boneheaded move goes against his character. This is fucking stupid. But yeah,
See,
that
I like the show Tyrion because in the books Tyrion is an asshole. He's a
they're
horrible
all assholes.
person, and it's not. And like I get that he is kind of an. I hate that he is crazy. Like they do like an inner monologue, and you're awesome. Let me tell you. And like reading his like chapters, like it always makes me sick. And I'm happy that in the show they changed it a bit. They kind of brought like a human side to him and a compassionate side. You know, he did have his moments.
Yeah, well, on TV, yeah, it is understandable to make changes like that. On TV, there's a level of audience connectivity that one needs to have in order to keep watching. Basically, we need to. When it comes to TV, you have to soften certain characteristics of
I don't know.
characters because you're the one of the main characters. I'm supposed to like you, so you do smooth out a lot of the
Yeah,
rough
but like
edges.
I like Tyrion's ending. It's very poetic that he became the Hand. You know, like during the first season, that was kind of his role. You know, his father was handling the big jobs. He was fighting a war basically against Robb Stark, so he couldn't really be the Hand in King's Landing. So he brought Tyrion in as a stand-in, if you will. But I just feel like, you know, that was poetic, that he started his journey out as being the Hand to this kingdom. Not a lot of people had faith in him. He was actually just seen as, oh, okay, Tywin doesn't really trust anybody but his own blood. So it's understandable that he would send this dude. But, you know, it's kind of poetic justice, like, for his crimes and his horrible decisions, and because he has done some shit in the show, let's be honest. He now has to, you know, pay that price by serving out his days to the kingdom and the good of the people, etc., etc. And that's very nice. I like that ending. But even Bran, like, I don't know, like, I don't think he should be the king of Westeros. No offense, but like that ending wasn't even written by George R.R. Martin yet, and I feel, and he even had said it himself, he would have ended it differently if it was up to him.
Honestly, if that'd been me, it wouldn't have been Bran. I would have honestly, I would have just let Jon Snow be king in the North and let Queen of Westeros be Sansa Stark more than anybody. But that's just me.
100%. I have like a list of people that would be good kings and queens. Tyrion is on that list, but Sansa Stark
I
is
don't.
also definitely on the list.
I mean, I don't see that.
She,
He's more kingmaker
according
than
to,
king material. Like he's like for a guy like Tyrion,
I
he's
get
more
you.
kingmaker than king. You know.
Mm. But when
Yeah.
you really think about it, like I don't agree with the end of the show, obviously. But in terms of the Game of Thrones, Sansa did win.
Yeah, she's the one who actually like played the game better than anybody, whereas everyone else kind of got played.
Yeah, like she's sitting up on the throne. Like, yes, okay, it's not the throne, you know. But the North is an independent kingdom now, you know. They are gonna govern themselves, have their own rules in place, and I think should be a great leader by, all the knowledge and all the experience that she has stocked up on from her horrible, horrible journey to where she started out. Like, I feel like she'll be a fair ruler. She wouldn't be cruel to the people. And I also like that, she's not exactly a fighter in like the obvious sense where she's a sword wielding badass character. She's
That
not
would be
that kind of
Arya, but
character.
okay. Yeah.
She is very feminine. She is very soft, and that she's not an Arya. She found strength and in those kinds of things. Like sewing. Sewing has been such a it's been her companion throughout her entire journey. Like, creating clothes for herself through these hard times, to be connected to her mother, to be connected to, her family. Um, Even like, that necklace she wears, kind of like, at the end of it, it's kind of a sewing needle. And it just shows, like, this story and this ending is something that she fabricated. She put those pieces, she sewed those pieces together. She made it to the end. And I think that's nice and poetic. And as I said, she's not a fighter in the traditional sense, but she's a fighter in her own way. And I like the way she fights. She's so empathetic and soft, and she cares about people no matter how brutish or horrible they can seem. Like the Hound and her, for example, he wasn't he treated her a lot better than the rest of the characters, and I think they had a special relationship. But like, she saw the goodness in him.
Yeah, good old Arya, yeah.
Exactly. So
That
it's
character should
nice.
be dead. That's just
I hate Arya's ending. Let me tell you, I hate it. I hate it. I hate it.
that. No,
She should
just
not.
even that, like that. When you saw those last couple episodes, running through the city while it's on fire, flames going everywhere, buildings crumbling, and she survives. No, this character should be dead. I'm sorry, no. You do not get to just get up and
The
walk
plot
off a
was
building falling on
constructed.
you. Like, fuck
The
that.
plot armor was going for her. It was protecting her the entire time.
Exactly. The fucking bullshit of that final episode, man. Not that final season. Damn.
I don't know. Like, I feel like, I don't know. Arya was always a leader, a strong person to me. Like, yes, she was forced to play this feminine role at the beginning. She was always forced into it,
She
but
was
she
a
never really
tomboy at
went into
heart,
it.
though.
Yeah, but like, I felt like they could have done more with the character. Like, she should be like the leader of something now.
She became a badass assassin who can dress up like anyone else used through the power of some kind of weird Mysterio face magic and took down the Night King, and you're like, they should have done more. What more could be done?
I don't know, but they should have done more. I like her though. She's cool. Arya's a good character in general. Like, compared to like what they did with Daenerys, for example, they did her some sort of justice. Like, it's okay. It's a palatable story. Even Jon Snow, I hated his story. I felt like, I don't know, like, because of his bastard status, he was always shackled to some kind of role in society. First, he was Ned Stark's bastard who was just traipsing around, having to like, um, bow down to everybody's whim because he wasn't, considered part of the family, but he was just there. Then he was following orders in the Night's Watch, and even though he became commander, he was still bound by a certain amount of duty. I felt like he should have gotten that freedom to finally like make a place for himself in this world. He never ever got that freedom to find out who he was, what's his purpose, according to himself, not according to some kind of destiny or who brought him in this world. And I feel like his ending is also kind of suckish.
Everyone's ending was kind of suckish. That whole season was kind of suckish.
True. Honestly, like, I feel like, I don't know, to me, Game of Thrones is on hiatus. Like, I feel like it didn't end. It didn't end in my mind. Well, technically it didn't end because of that last book. Like, once it releases, I'm gonna buy it and I'm going to read it, and hopefully it works out.
You mean if it releases? If George R. R. Martin can ever gets
He's
around
writing
to
it.
it.
I hope he gets around to it. He's writing it. Hopefully,
So
like,
he
since
says.
House of the Dragon came out, he's been updating his blog a lot. He has a little blog
He was
on the
doing that
internet.
anyway. He was doing that anyway, only he
And
was talking about sports.
and he's irritating because he's talking about stupid things like the House of the Dragon sigil. for example, like Team Black and Team Green. He's saying, oh, the dragons have 4 legs. They should have 2 legs and 2 wings.
Are you
In
kidding
my
me,
head, I'm
man?
like,
This pedantic
actually,
shit.
yeah, I'm like, in my head, first, I'm like, please just go and write your book. Please, don't worry about stupid things like this. But also, traditionally, a dragon is supposed to have 4 legs and wings.
Because it's based off a
And
lizard, so, it makes no sense to only have 2 legs. It's a lizard, not a chicken.
exactly. And a dragon-like creature who has 4 legs, and 2 of those legs are the wings, is called a wyvern, not a dragon. Those dragons, and I say that in quotation marks, in House of the Dragon, in Game of Thrones, they are all wyverns. They're not dragons. But I suppose, House of the Wyvern doesn't sound nice. Blood of the Wyvern doesn't sound nice. So I get the dragon thing, but traditionally. But also in his book, he talks about wyverns. Isn't that stupid? Because in Old Valyria, where the Targaryens come from, he speaks about a whole lot of creatures and stuff in the Whispering Sea that's north of Essos. There's an ice dragon, right? It's huge compared to other dragons, and it's ferocious, and nobody can be in that Whispering Sea because of it. But here's the thing: when they die, because they're made of ice, they melt. So there's no proof of their existence. And then he talks to the south of that, there's wyverns, which is his dragon. Isn't that stupid?
There's a lot stupid about this.
No, honestly, when you read a Song of Ice and Fire, he just seems like a nerd. A nerd who played Roblox or Minecraft as a kid. He's more into world building than he is to plot.
Surely that's a good thing, ain't it?
I wonder, huh? I really wonder. Honestly, my take on the whole A Song of Ice universe is that I feel like the name Aegon has been used too often, and it's the cause of 90% of problems. There's too many people named Aegon. Even Jon Snow. Rhaegar Targaryen, his father, had a son named Aegon. And then he named Jon Aegon.
Well, to be fair, in our world, the name John is a common name.
Yeah, but it's Jon Snow. And also, Ned named him John because of some dude he met during war. He was like, I'm gonna name you John.
He's not even Jon Snow, he's Jon Sand, which is a dumb as fuck name. I'm sorry, that name is ridiculous.
He's John. Yeah, true. I don't know, even the Boston names, some of them are cool. Okay, some of them are cool. I don't know, if my surname was Storm, for example, if I was born in the Stormland, it was something Storm. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
But some of them are just weird, like River. Imagine the first three-eyed raven before Bran, Brynden Rivers. He was the bastard of Aegon the fifth Targaryen and some lady from House Blackwood, and his name was Brynden Rivers, and or Lord Bloodraven later on. But Rivers just seems weird. Even Sand seems weird.
It's
Snow
dull.
kind of sounds cool.
Exactly. Snow is a cool name. It's a cool name to have a guy named Snow. Like freaking President Snow from the Hunger Games. There you go. That is a
Yeah,
badass
exactly.
name.
Snow always falls on top. That is a good saying. And it's cool because you're from the north. But Sand, that is kind of stupid. I don't know, they could have picked something better from the desert. Even Dune would have been cool.
John Dune.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah, it's terrible, man. Just that idea, that whole John Sand thing. It was deconstruction of Jon Snow. That just the disassembly of this man's character needs to be studied because it's freaking terrible.
Okay. Oh, my mother came home. I'll see you. Good talk.
Okay, see you around.
Hey kid, don't ever let them get inside your head. They'll tell you what to do in life instead of everything you know that you could get. Don't let them guide your life towards regret. I'll fight for what I love with every breath. My past is filled with things I won't forget. I use them all to push me to my best. So treat the worst of times just like a test. If only I could go back in time, I'd tell myself that everything will end up alright. Just push yourself, test yourself, figure out what you like, and find your limits, don't be rigid, always work towards a prime. Surround yourself with open minds, people can change your life. A few friends with intent can help you feel alive. Find a passion, take some action, and with a little time, just be patient, make a statement, try to enjoy your life. They'll try to kick you while you're down. They wanna rise up while you drown. They wanna fill your head with doubt. They're silently scared that you'll figure it out. I'll make it look like I'm losing, won't bother hiding my bruises. And when they finally think you're wounded, then it's your chance to be ruthless. Chance to be ruthless. They don't wanna see me make it, they don't wanna see me care. Anytime I make some progress, I can see that they compare. I think everyone's against me, maybe something in the air. Am I paranoid? I swear a void is forming and they're scared I walk a straight path. Not many can say that. I like to play fast, cross me and there's payback. You better pray that I don't see your face at any place that I go. I know you hate that. I've been doing fine, I'm not wasting any more time. I live for the fight and the climb, and I think that the pain that's deep inside is what defines. So I won't give up, I'm gonna make it to the top. I don't care what's in my way, I swear I'm never gonna stop. I could fall flat on my face and I swear I will get back up, cause I don't deserve a thing and the road ahead is tough. They'll try to kick you while you're down. They wanna rise up while you drown. They wanna fill your head with doubt. They're silently scared that you'll figure it out. I'll make it look like I'm losing, won't bother hiding my bruises. And when they finally think you're wounded, then it's your chance to be ruthless.